Alright, so today we'll be stringing a mid-low pocket in the Under Armour command low. This pocket's going to be perfect for this head. Since it's designed for that lower pocket, it's going to be great for any attackman or even a midfielder. So stay tuned for the tutorial. Alright, so before we begin the tutorial, you will need a 9-diamond top string. As you can see, I have here, you're going to do that 9-diamond top string on the second hole of the head. So once again, 9-diamond top string on the second hole of the head. So for the actual pattern, we're going to start on the third hole of the head. So I'm going to put my string through that third hole. And we're going to do a loop start. So I'm going to go up and through that first available mesh hole. Back through that same sidewall hole and up and through the mesh hole again. So that's our loop start. So we're going to skip the next sidewall hole and do an SI. So we're going to go down to the top of the next mesh hole, into the plastic, through this loop that we create. Pull it up and down so it's nice and tight. And then take our leading edge string and go from the bottom up of that same mesh hole. And then we should have our first SI. So now we're going to skip the next sidewall hole and do another SI, so down to the top of the next mesh hole. Into the plastic, making sure to skip one sidewall hole. Through that same loop that we create. And then from the bottom and up of that same mesh hole. Alright, so now that we have those two SIs, we're going to skip the next sidewall hole and do a KSI. So we're going to go down to the top of the next mesh hole. Into the plastic. We're going to leave a small loop since we are doing a KSI. Right there. You're going to take your leading edge string and go from the back of that loop that you just created. And so we should have a pretzel to show that we are getting a KSI, as you can see. And then from the inside, I'm going to pull this string to get all the slack out. Pull it tight. And then you're going to take your fingers and pinch the solid string to the plastic of the head and just pull it downwards. And then we're going to take our leading in and go from the bottom and up of that same mesh hole. Alright, so now we're going to further create the pocket. We're going to do 2 KSIs after we did that last one. So we're going to go down to the top of the next mesh hole. Into the plastic, making sure to leave a small loop. Taking our leading in and going from the back of that loop and through. Once again, we should have that pretzel like we did the first time. You're going to pull your slack from the inside. Take your fingertips and pinch the string to the plastic and pull straight down. And then going from the bottom and up once again. Just like we did last time, we're going to do one more KSI. So down to the top of the next mesh hole. Into the plastic. Through that next sidewall hole. Making sure to leave another small loop. Taking our leading in and going from the back of that loop with our string. And then pulling our slack from the inside once again. Pinching the string to the plastic and then pulling straight down. And then taking our leading in once again and going from the bottom and up of that same mesh hole. There we go. And then after that, we're going to do an SI, so down to the top of the next mesh hole. And we're going to take the middle of the mesh, pinch it, and then pull it up towards the scoop to help create the pocket. Take your leading in and pull it straight down so this mesh loop anchors to the plastic. You're going to go into the sidewall hole, the next one, through the loop that we create. As you can see, and then from the bottom and up of that same mesh hole. Just like so. All right, so now we just did that last SI. We're going to finish out our pocket. We're going to do a 1 KSI. So we're going to go from the bottom and up of that next mesh hole. And then without going into the plastic, we're going to take our string and go from the top down of the next one. Just like that. Take the mesh, pinch it, and then pull it up towards the top of the scoop. Take your leading it and pull it straight downwards. So these mesh loops anchor to the plastic. So now we're going to do a KSI. So we're going to go into the plastic. And since it's going to be a 1 KSI, we're going to leave a little bit of a loop, just like we did up here. Take your string, go from the back of that loop. Just like I did here. We're going to pull our slack from the inside. Nice and tight. Take your fingers and pinch the string to the plastic and then pull it straight down. And then we might have a little bit of a loop here, so we're just going to pull the mesh inwards a little bit to help get that mesh loop to relax a little bit and pull straight down once again. And you take your string and go from the bottom up of that last mesh hole. And then once again, we're going to take the middle of the mesh, pinch it up, and pull it towards the top of the scoop, and then pull your leading in straight down. So there we should have a 1 KSI. So to that 1 KSI, we're going to do an SI. So down to the top of the next mesh hole. We're going to take the middle of the mesh, pinch it, pull it up towards the top of the scoop one more time. Into the plastic. Through the loop that we create. Going from the bottom up of that same mesh hole. See how I did there. And now we're going to finish out our pocket. Into the plastic first, we're going to do an interlock. And you're going to leave a loop, as you see I did here. And then this next available mesh hole, we're going to use that one. So from the inside, I've got my string and go up and through that next mesh hole. And then through this loop. Okay. Take the middle of the mesh once again, pull it towards the top of the scoop. We're going to pull our string outwards to get all the slack out, and then up, and then down and anchor it nice and tight. And that's what it should look like from the inside. And then now to finish out, we're going to take our string, go down to the top of that same mesh hole we just went through last time. And then we're going to take our string, and then from the inside, we are going to push the string through that last sable hole. And that's what it should look like on the end. And then on this side, all we need to do is simply tie a knot. And there you go. And so if you enjoyed this tutorial or found it helpful, be sure to like the video, subscribe to our channel, and thanks for watching.